The South China Sea, a region already known for its tense maritime disputes and strategic importance, recently witnessed an extraordinary and unexpected event that sent ripples through the international community. In a rare occurrence, a Russian submarine, identified as the UFA 490, surfaced just 80 nautical miles off the Philippine coast, startling both local fishermen and military observers alike. The Philippine Navy wasted no time in responding to the situation. They swiftly dispatched several patrol ships to the area, determined to closely monitor the foreign vessels' movements and ensure the safety of their territorial waters. Naval officers immediately opened radio communications with the Russian crew, seeking clarification about the submarine's intentions and the reasons behind its sudden appearance so close to Philippine shores. The Russian crew explained that they were waiting out a bout of severe weather, claiming their presence was part of a routine transit to Vladivostok. They insisted there was no cause for alarm, but their explanation did little to ease concerns. Although the exchange between the two navies remained professional and courteous, the incident quickly raised eyebrows among military analysts and government officials. This was far from an ordinary passage, and many wondered if there was more to the story. The Russian submarine had surfaced well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, an area where the country holds special rights to resources and economic activity under international law. Such a move was highly unusual and potentially provocative. Military submarines almost never surface in these contested and sensitive waters, especially not in broad daylight and so close to another nation's coastline. The event was not only rare, but also raised questions about the intentions behind the maneuver. The Philippine Navy maintained a vigilant watch, shadowing the Russian vessel and making it clear that any deviation from its stated course would be met with a firm response. Their presence ensured that the submarine eventually departed the area without further incident. For officials in Manila, the sighting served as a stark and sobering reminder that the great power competition between global military forces is no longer a distant issue. It is now unfolding right in their own backyard, with real implications for national security. The incident added a new layer of complexity to the Philippines' already delicate security environment, forcing military leaders to reassess their strategies and readiness in the face of unpredictable foreign activity. Ultimately, the Russian submarine's appearance compelled the Philippines to not only question the motives of its immediate neighbors, but also to consider the broader ambitions and strategies of distant global powers, highlighting the intricate web of diplomacy and defense in the region. The Philippine government's response to the Russian submarine was telling. President Marcos Jr. called the incident concerning, emphasizing the nation's sensitivity to foreign military activity in its waters. Meanwhile, the Philippine Navy downplayed the threat, describing the submarine as unique, but not immediately dangerous. This split in tone highlights the challenge Manila faces, projecting strength without provoking major powers. The episode underscored the Philippines' precarious position, asserting sovereignty while managing complex relationships with global players. The Russian submarine was a reminder that the South China Sea's dynamics involve more than just China and the Philippines. Manila must now interpret the moves of multiple powerful actors and adapt its strategy accordingly. Analysts are divided on the Russian submarine's motives. Some say it was simply the most direct route to Vladivostok, with the surfacing due to weather, nothing more. Others see a calculated message, Russia flexing its naval reach and signaling solidarity with China in contested waters. The timing fits a pattern of deepening Russia-China military cooperation, challenging US influence in the Indo-Pacific. Whether routine or deliberate, the incident forces regional states to take Russia's intentions seriously. The UFA 490's silent passage spoke volumes about shifting power dynamics. Military movements like this are often non-verbal messages between states. The event adds a new variable to the South China Sea's already complex security equation. The China-Russia partnership has become a defining force in global geopolitics. Their no-limits relationship is backed by real cooperation, joint military drills, economic ties, and coordinated diplomatic moves. Both nations see the US and its alliances as obstacles to their ambitions, and together they aim to reshape the world order. This partnership isn't a formal alliance, but its flexibility allows both sides to support each other's interests without binding commitments. For China, a stable Russia means it can focus on maritime priorities. For Russia, Chinese support is vital for its economy and military. Their collaboration is pragmatic, mutually beneficial, and increasingly influential. The partnership's strength lies in its adaptability and shared vision for a multipolar world. It's a cornerstone of their strategy to counterbalance American power. The economic ties between China and Russia are a critical pillar of their partnership. Over the past decade, these two nations have steadily deepened their cooperation, forging a relationship that extends far beyond simple trade. Their leaders frequently meet at high-level summits, where new agreements are signed and mutual interests are reinforced, signaling to the world the strength of their alliance. China secures discounted Russian energy, including vast quantities of oil and natural gas, which not only fuels its massive industrial sector but also enhances its energy security. This reliable supply helps China stabilize its energy prices and maintain steady economic growth, even as global markets fluctuate. For Russia, China is a lifeline, its top buyer of oil and gas, providing crucial revenue amid Western sanctions. These exports are vital for Russia's economy, helping to offset losses from restricted access to Western markets and keeping its energy sector robust. In return, Russia gains access to a wide range of Chinese goods and advanced technology, including electronics and drones that are increasingly vital for its military and civilian industries. This flow of products helps Russia modernize and maintain its technological edge. This robust trade creates deep interdependence, weaving their economies together and making their alliance more resilient to external shocks. The constant movement of goods and capital across their borders strengthens trust and cooperation. Beyond economics, their partnership is a strategic tool. Both nations are actively working to reduce their reliance on the US dollar and Western financial systems, seeking greater financial independence and security. They're promoting the use of their own currencies, the yuan and the ruble, in bilateral trade and developing alternative payment systems to bypass Western-controlled networks. This shift is gradually changing the landscape of international finance. This process, known as de-dollarization, directly challenges American financial dominance and aims to create a more multipolar global economy where no single currency holds all the power. Their economic synergy strengthens their ability to withstand external pressure such as sanctions or global disruptions, allowing both countries to remain stable and competitive on the world stage. Together, they're building a parallel economic ecosystem, one that supports their global ambitions, fosters innovation, and positions them as key players in shaping the future of international trade and finance. At the heart of the China-Russia partnership lies a powerful, shared ambition: the creation of a multipolar world order. Both nations see this as a way to challenge the dominance of Western powers, particularly the United States, and to reshape global governance in a way that better reflects their interests and those of other emerging countries. To advance this vision, China and Russia actively use international platforms like BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. These forums allow them to promote their agenda, build alliances, and rally support from countries across the global south, who often feel underrepresented in traditional Western-led institutions. Many developing nations are attracted to the promise of a more equitable global system. For them, BRICS represents an opportunity to amplify their voices, influence global decision-making, and pursue economic development outside the shadow of Western dominance. However, this coalition is far from monolithic. While some members share ideological goals, many join for pragmatic reasons, seeking economic benefits, political leverage, or simply a seat at the table in a changing world. These countries often maintain strong ties with the West, balancing their relationships to maximize their own interests. For most, the goal is not outright confrontation, but rather to create more options and flexibility on the global stage. This diversity of interests and motivations makes reaching consensus within the group challenging, especially when it comes to sensitive issues like security, trade, or political reform. The push for multipolarity is not a quick or easy process. It is a long-term project that demands careful negotiation, compromise, and the ability to navigate competing ambitions among a wide array of countries. While China and Russia have positioned themselves as leaders of this movement, the path to a truly multipolar world remains complex and uncertain. The outcome will depend on how well these diverse nations can work together and how the rest of the world responds to their challenge. Despite their close partnership, Russia isn't simply China's junior ally. Moscow pursues its own interests, seeking global influence and independent leverage in the Indo-Pacific. By engaging with countries like the Philippines or Vietnam, Russia positions itself as an alternative security partner and arms supplier. This strategy creates dependencies and gives Russia leverage over multiple regional actors. Engaging US allies like the Philippines can also create friction within Washington's alliance system. Russia's actions are driven by geopolitical calculation, not altruism. By maintaining ambiguity and engaging all sides, Moscow maximizes its influence and complicates US-China rivalry. For Russia, the goal is to use regional dynamics to advance its own standing on the global stage. Military exercises in the South China Sea are reshaping the region's balance of power. China and Russia's joint drills signal their combined strength and readiness to counter US intervention. The US has responded by deepening alliances and expanding exercises with partners like the Philippines, Japan, and Australia. For Manila, closer US ties offer security but also risk entanglement in great power conflict. The presence of Russia adds unpredictability, making the security environment more complex and multipolar. Regional states now navigate a landscape with multiple powerful actors, not just a US-China binary. This complexity brings both instability and new diplomatic opportunities for smaller states. The Philippines must balance security needs with the risks of deeper alignment. The evolving power dynamics demand agility and strategic foresight. For the Philippines, great power rivalry brings both risk and opportunity. The main danger is being caught in the crossfire as US-China tensions escalate in the West Philippine Sea. Yet this environment also lets Manila hedge, strengthening its US alliance while keeping lines open to China and others. The Russian submarine's appearance highlights the truly international nature of the South China Sea. Multipolarity gives smaller states more room to maneuver and build coalitions for a rules-based order. The Philippines' success will depend on diplomatic agility and investment in its own defense. The goal isn't to pick sides, but to advance national interests amid shifting power dynamics. With caution and creativity, the Philippines can turn volatility into an opportunity to secure its sovereignty and regional standing.